Alright, hi, hello. Sorry, it's been like so long since I've made a video. I've been going through it for a little bit, but I am back and I'm going to try and make these more often. Today we are going to be reading trans Reddit stories again. Some of these don't have like transgender in the title or anything, but I looked up on Am I the Asshole trans, and so these posts have it somewhere in them. So let's get started. Am I the asshole for not telling my girlfriend I was going to a concert with a friend? So as the title says, I, 20 male, went to a concert for one of my favorite bands with one of my close friends, Mike, 20 male. My girlfriend, Lexi, 24 female, found out that I went through some Instagram stories and she was pissed at me. It wasn't like I was hiding it or anything. She didn't ask, and it had been a plan for so long that I didn't even stop to think about telling people. She called me while we were in the car with my parents, who were nice enough to pick us up from the concert, and I shot her a quick text letting her know that I couldn't talk, but I'd call her back when I could. Lex says I basically cheated on her and that she can't trust that I didn't do anything with Mike. When I told her he's straight, she told me it didn't matter because I'm trans. That left me feeling a bit icky, but I'm still worried I really did do something wrong by not telling her about this. I'm not super experienced with relationships, so maybe this is common knowledge that I just don't have. Am I the asshole for not telling her about the concert? I'm just gonna say right away, dump them. It's like, first off, she's completely disrespecting you by saying that, oh, it doesn't matter that he's straight because you're trans. So she doesn't respect this guy. And also that level of jealousy where it's like, you can't go to a concert with a friend because I think you're gonna cheat on me or whatever. Like, that level of distrust where she doesn't trust OP to go to a concert with someone because she's thinking that OP's cheating on her. Like, you don't want to be in a relationship where the trust is that fragile, or someone that has that type of like an issue with you going out with friends. I expected the friend to be trans or something, and then like the girlfriend was upset about that, but no, OP is. I just think he needs to leave this girl. Sorry. First comment, not the asshole, and Lexi sees you as your gender assigned at birth. She's a transphobe. It also certainly does not mean you're a cheater. Lexi must have long legs because, man, can she jump to a wild conclusion. Not the asshole. What your girlfriend said was not alright at all. Your friend is a straight man who therefore is not interested in guys and therefore not interested in you. The fact that Lexi thinks you being trans changes anything about the situation is quite transphobic. You should have a talk with your girlfriend explaining that what she said hurt you and was way out of line. Not the asshole. Although this post could equally be in Today I Fucked Up, you fucked up by not telling her in advance, but you'd only be an asshole if you hid it from her. Another comment, nah, it is kind of strange that it didn't occur to you to share something like this with your girlfriend. If I went to see my favorite band, you can be sure my partner would know about it, since I'd be excited and generally want to share it with him when I'm looking forward to something. So I really understand her feeling icky about it. You are, of course, not obliged to share anything with her, but I wonder how close you are in this relationship if it didn't even occur to you to tell your girlfriend you're seeing your favorite band. This may be an unpopular opinion. I don't think OP is an asshole at all for not telling the girlfriend about his plans. Like, she wasn't part of the plans. Like, there is a universe in which you can say, yeah, like, you should share the things you're happy about and excited about with your partner, but like, should is, I mean, this is the plans between him and his friend. No one is obliged to tell their partner about everything they're doing. Let's swap genders of everybody here, okay? So we're talking about a boyfriend who didn't know about the concert, and the trans man and the cis man are both girls. It's easier to see the controlling behavior when you change it this way, because a lot of the times it's a guy who's controlling and says stuff like this. Because, like, picture a guy telling his girlfriend that she was gonna cheat on him going to a concert and like being upset that she didn't tell him about the concert. Like, it's a weird level of controlling that I just don't like, and maybe that's a nitpicky thing, but oh well. Am I the asshole for not taking in my friend after she was kicked out by her homophobic mom? This just happened and I'm suffering with a guilty conscience. It says conscious, not conscience, but I would really use some outside input. I started uni about 2 weeks ago. There I met this girl, let's call her Lexi. We hit it off and have been getting closer as friends. She started to open up to me about her terrible parents. She's gay but closeted due to her parents being extremely conservative and homophobic. She dates a girl in secret and told me that her mom has threatened to kick her out due to her style, hair, whatever it is that makes her look like a boy, or just anything that her mom doesn't like. So yesterday she cut her hair short. It's not a buzz cut short, but it's a bit lower than shoulder length. This morning she came into uni crying, saying that the whole ride there her mom said that she was a disappointment, poisoned by the devil, and that she would stop paying for her tuition. In my country, it's very rare to see freshmen paying for their tuition, since we usually start working at 18, which me and her are, and still the pay is very low, not enough to afford a medium tuition. So she would just have to stop going to uni. I tried to comfort her as best as I could. Now, a few hours ago, she texted me saying that her mom kicked her out of the house because of her hair. She recorded a few audios of her mom blowing up in the car ride home, saying all kinds of stuff to Lexi. That she's ruining her mom's life, she's making her mom suffer, that her mom hasn't slept thinking about her daughter being consumed by the devil, that Lexi is associating with the lesbians, gays, and a slur for trans people, etc. Lexi was understandably desperate, and I immediately got to trying to help her. She had nowhere to go. I didn't offer her my place, but at some point she asked if she could come. I said it wasn't possible. First, I live with my mom and sister, but my mom is away and my sister would probably not allow it. But I didn't even try talking to my sister, even though I sympathize and care for Lexi. I've only known her for 2 weeks. I was worried that if she came, she would just stay here for an indefinite amount of time, and that wouldn't be possible. So I'd be stuck in a terrible situation. I googled some cheap hotels near her place, asked if she had money, and she said she did. Thankfully, she managed to go to another friend's place. However, I talked to a friend about this, and she said that, I was an asshole. It was an asshole move not to even try to offer my place to her. I'm feeling guilty, so I really could use some advice. Was I the asshole for not taking her in when she's in this horrible situation? Alright, so there's some comments by OP. Let's go through this. Someone said, it's highly suspicious that you are the only option for someone you have only known for 2 weeks. You absolutely dodged a bullet, not the asshole. OP says, IDK, she has very bad social anxiety and we're only friends because I approached her. And maybe I'm becoming sort of a safe space for her since she has so much shit going on. I feel like she doesn't have many people she can count on. Thank you for your input. The same person says, you sound like a very empathetic person, which is wonderful. We need more empathy in this world right now. But consider this, Lexi knows her mom and knows her mom did not want her to cut her hair. She also knows her mom is unhinged, yet she still chose to do something she knew her mom would react against without having any real backup. You can still be a good friend to her, but it's not up to you to save her. Be careful, it can feel good to help people in need, but look up codependencies and keep maintaining your boundaries. Someone says, not the asshole, but guard your heart. Sometimes people who have horrible home lives like that have a hard time with drama-free friendships. They can, perfectly understandably, be desperate for love and approval. And because it hasn't been modeled, they overdo it with the ones who care about them. They need so much support that they demand almost total devotion, so either you're the only one who could help, or you are just another person to reject her. There's very little middle ground. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes back and forth between being all in with you or completely upset with you. OP says, I've started to notice this already. She's constantly asking if I really like her, asking if she's bothering me, and asking me to keep close to her all day. I haven't given it much thought, but what you said made something click here. Thank you. Personally, I think OP is not the asshole because they've only known this girl for 2 weeks, it said. When I read 2 weeks, it shocked me a little bit because someone telling you all of this stuff that's going on with them within the first 2 weeks of knowing them is a bit much. I've never been through something like that, so I don't know what I would do exactly, but like with my, you could say trauma, I don't really tell people that within the first week of meeting them. It feels like heavy topics are something you share with close friends that you trust. And it feels like this girl may be looking for people who she can trust. And also, as the comment said, yeah, it's like, you don't know her well enough to, Am I the asshole for keeping this friendship? I, 34 female, have 2 friends, 35 female and 35 male, who have always joked around harshly with each other. I've known her since we were 13 and they met when they were 17. Not to cut off the story, but so they're 35, they're both 35. Okay, the 34 and 35. I've known her since we were 13 and they met when they were 17. Okay, whatever. She included him in our group, and after some time, he became my friend because we had a lot in common. We all have traveled together and everything. The thing is, recently she changed, became more spiritual and also a mom. And we of course understand it, but it seems like she wants others to change along with her. By the way, husband is not a problem here. He's also a friend of the group, and our friend is gay, so it's not about that. Sorry, there's so much information being said, and I'm not following it all, but we're gonna just read it and hope I understand later. She told him that she no longer wants to joke around, and he understood. However, he told her that if something slipped out, she should understand that changes aren't immediate. In the end, he didn't change the way she wanted, and she even feels like he's doing it on purpose to hurt her. He says he is not, and that she exaggerates because she doesn't like that behavior anymore. As for me, I've never joked like that with either of them. We have a great friendship, we tell each other everything, etc. She stopped talking to him. Recently, she told me she felt betrayed because I continued to talk to him. She even told me that he was his friend and I was hers. And yes, but like 18 years ago, I mean after all that time we became friends for other reasons, not just because we know her. He's still my friend, we've traveled together to concerts, and now we have a new group with other people we recently met, and with her, I still have the original group, and we remain friends, but she still makes little comments about the situation. He hasn't done anything to me, and personally I don't think he did anything unforgivable to her to the point where I should end my friendship with him. Am I wrong for not picking a side and being friends with both? By the way, it doesn't bother him that I maintain my friendship with her, nor has he made any comments about it. Edit examples of this behavior. One day we were talking about trans people, and a girl said she would never let her son use girl clothes because he should be a man. M, who is from the LGBTQ community, said that would make her a bad parent. The other day when she was telling the group she was becoming more spiritual, he said, just don't become one of those people. The original verdict of this was no assholes or more info needed or whatever. But then once that comment came up about trans people that the girl made, it swayed everybody in the comments. I think, like, my question is, why is OP still friends with that girl when she seems to be, like, she seems bigoted. She's almost pushing her religion on other people. Someone says, geez, the edit swirled the story to the whole another direction. In your examples, he never said harsh jokes. He asked her to be a decent human being. If she felt that as harsh jokes, then I don't know what to say. It's one thing to make harsh jokes about someone, and that's not the same as when a friend calls out our bad behavior. He called her bad behavior and she stomped away because she can't handle the truth. Now, she neither can't make this as his harsh joke problem, nor your problem. Move away from her drama. I mean, OP is obviously not the asshole for not cutting off their friendship with the dude, but I think it slightly veers into asshole-ish in my opinion that she's staying friends with a bigot who is trying to push her away from her other friends. I just believe, and maybe this is unpopular opinion, I believe that people need to be more picky with who they keep in their lives. I feel like not enough people are like harsh with cutting people off. Like if someone is not adding anything to your life, if they're not putting in the effort that they should, like, yeah, talk to them. But also, like, cut them off if they're not helping you, if they're not, like, uplifting you in any way, shape, or form. If their presence isn't nice anymore, if they're, like, doing what this woman is doing and, like, pushing her vendetta on you. People need to have higher standards, okay? As I said in, like, my last video, which was not a Reddit video, but it was still a video, people's standards, just as a general thing, mostly I'm talking about women's standards, because men, the bar is on the fucking floor for men. And their standards are high, but in like a problematic way. Anyways, I feel like people are not selective enough with the people they keep in their life. And the thing is, I used to be the type of person who would be like, oh my god, yeah, we're not talking now, but my texts are always open, you can always talk to me again. And now I'm kind of like, no, if someone's not putting in the effort to stay friends, stay in a relationship, whatever else with you, you can just... Oh, there's some good ones that I'm not... I just scrolled down from the one I was gonna read. There are some really good ones. Maybe I'll make this episode longer than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, am I the asshole for telling my best friend that his girlfriend was harassing me for no reason? I'll keep this but a little context. Me and my best friend, who is male, we are both trans. I am a trans woman and he is a trans man. He recently started dating this girl online who I had no problems with. But at the time they started dating, me and him were in a fight and had to take a break from being friends, but we are friends. The other night I reached out to her and tried to become friends with her, but the moment she realized which friend of his was, she went off on a tirade insulting my physical appearance and making weird comments saying how I was controlling, even though I literally have been nothing but respectful to her and was nothing but respectful to her. After about a few hours, we finally came to an agreement for me and her to just talk things out and see why she hated me so much. She then started to go on a rant about how I'll never be able to experience the psychological and emotional trauma of being a real woman, and just saying very transphobic things towards me, and now she's saying she wants to break up with my best friend because of me, and he's acting like I was the one who was harassing her, even though I was nothing but respectful to her, and I genuinely cannot tell if I'm in the wrong or if the situation or his girlfriend is. First comment, IDK, this is a mess. If this girl is anti-trans, why is she now dating a trans man? She sounds like a lot of drama, or your friend told her all about this fight that you had, and she has a really bad impression of you. In any event, if your friend isn't interested in smoothing it over, you may be better off leaving both of them alone, without creating a new drama yourself. Just back away if that's the case, and let them have each other. I think there's a lot more to this situation that is probably too complicated for you to fully explain it here. That's my impression. Someone said, so this is a completely online relationship, correct? Who gives a shit if they break up? How long have they even been dating? Does this woman even know her internet boyfriend is trans? This is a stupid mess, and everyone involved sounds deeply immature and over dramatic. You've already had to put your friendship on pause because you two fight so much. Get a new friend who doesn't side with his digital girlfriend, who holds beliefs that go against his very existence. Everyone sucks here. She goes, yeah, the reason why we initially took a pause on being friends was because he would constantly nitpick a lot of the things I liked, but I have forgiven him for that, and it's especially hard because the school we go to is very small, and outside of two friends who don't go to my school, everyone else is kind of mutual friends with me and him. Someone goes, so what exactly did you do/say? OP says, basically, all I did was DM her, and I was like, hi, I'm one of BFF's names, best friends, and you seem really cool, and then the moment she found out who I was, she started rambling on about how she was going to judge me because I judged her, and I never judged her. I just double-checked with him when they started dating that she wasn't secretly an old man, because keep in mind they live across the country and met on a TikTok dating application, so I never judged her. I was just like, are you sure she's not an old man, to my best friend? And then she started going off rambling for like 3 hours straight, and then when we finally agreed to talk it out, she just started saying weird transphobic things, but also just like the most random stuff. Like, honestly, could have been a little nicer. Okay, this is just a lot. The verdict of this is everyone sucks. I think it kind of doesn't... When this girlfriend starts being transphobic, it kind of changes from everybody sucks, or like it being iffy, to, oh yeah, this person who's being transphobic sucks. Like, they are the asshole. I will say it is a little bit like, we're only seeing this OP's point of view, so there could be more to this, you know. But when I hear someone being transphobic, I feel like every other person's assholey behavior kinda goes down a level, you know? Am I the asshole for having a satanic wedding? Oh god. Title, my fiance and I are in the planning phase of our wedding. Yay! And I recently told my mom that a friend of mine, a very lovely Satanist metalhead, would be officiating the wedding as per the Satanic Temple of Wedding Ritual. Wait, I thought that it was gonna be like that the OP was gay, so people were calling the wedding satanic or whatever to be discriminatory, but it's a really satanic wedding. An argument ensued where she expressed to me that it was disrespectful. I told her that I had no intention of doing anything in poor taste, and that we wanted a fun wedding that was defiant and defied expectations. I had asked her why she was offended and if she was Christian, Catholic, etc., to which she replied no. She texted me later that night and expressed that she didn't know why she told me she wasn't Catholic and that she actually was. She then informed me that if we held the wedding like this and included satanic messages, that she and my dad wouldn't attend. Since then, there has been a constant fighting with her, and there has not been a resolution. For context, I come from a very supportive, non-religious family. My father is an atheist and always has been until this issue with my mom. She had never been Catholic, never really gone to church, never raised us with a faith, never expressed theistic religion or anything. It was, however, brought to my attention that when she and my dad got married, it was at a Catholic church. I was too young then to know this, so it was news to me. One of my mom's points is that doing a ceremony like this feels to her like an insult at her wedding ceremony directly, like we're doing it to defy her. I told her that it had nothing to do with her and that it wasn't about her, to which she told me it was unfair to tell me things aren't about her. Added context, I am a trans woman wearing another woman. My parents love my fiance dearly and have been accepting and supportive of my identity for as long as I can remember. Now, functionally, this is a normal wedding ceremony for all intended purposes. Truthfully, fiance and I are just freaks who want a freak wedding. It's harmless, and as the Satanic Temple and its beliefs, if you look them up, it's non-theistic, community service-oriented religion in the loosest sense of the word. We just wanted to do something fun. The thing is, I have no intention of changing anything about our wedding to accommodate my mom. Fiance's family is cool with it. All of my family members are cool with it, but my mom insists that she and my dad will not be attending if we hold the ceremony in this way. Am I the asshole, or is she being unreasonable? Edit, for added context, TST aligns with our values, and we aren't doing it for the image. Person doing the ceremony is my best friend and is fully supportive. I just think it's crazy to me that it's actually a satanic wedding. Like, when I read the title, I was like, oh no, someone's calling a queer wedding satanic because they're bigots. But no, it's an actual satanic wedding, and like all the queer stuff everybody seems to be okay with. It's just the satanic part that everyone's not okay with. A supportive parent would not give a shit if it was a satanic wedding. They would go for their kid. That's it. And it's funny to me how, I guess OP is saying that the mom wasn't religious, or didn't seem to be religious before, but then suddenly found faith. Okay. Jesus took the wheel for that one. She was texting and Jesus took the phone. Yeah, no, I think they shouldn't change anything about their wedding, and obviously it's great that the parents were supportive of this trans woman's journey, but just because they were supportive at one point doesn't mean they should be supportive about the whole thing. I guess maybe for like older people they wouldn't understand it, but I just know my family, like, they'd look at it and be like, that's kind of weird, but they still would go, and they still would, like, support me. A satanic wedding wouldn't change that, even though I probably wouldn't have a satanic wedding, but, you know. And I think it's interesting to note, too, that the fiance's family is fine with it. A lot of their family is fine with it. It's only the two parents that have to be upset about this. I just don't like the way that the mom is making it about her when it's not about her. And then when they try and tell her it's not about her, she says, quote unquote, it's unfair to tell her that things aren't about her. Well, it's not about you. Whatever the asshole that confronted a friend about knowing him before. I, 29 male, had a friend back in high school, Rye, 15 female when I was 17 male. We weren't inseparable or anything like that, but we knew each other well. My senior year, she suddenly disappeared after only 2 years of living there, and I had heard that she died or ran away, and her family couldn't stay in town due to grief. We lived in a small town, so rumors got blown out of proportion. I mourned her loss, but eventually went on to move to a big city in the same state. 6 months ago, I was at a friend's party when I was introduced to Mark, 20s male. I noticed right off the bat that he and Rye had a ton of similarities. Mark and I got to talking and really hit it off, and we exchanged numbers and started hanging out. I thought Rye was dead, so it never even crossed my mind that they may actually have been the same person. Last week, Mark and I were getting lunch, and he asked me to watch his stuff, and he went to the bathroom. His phone rang on the table, and it was his dad calling. I couldn't help but peek at the screen. His dad was the same as Rye's, distinctly older, but the same mustache, same glasses, same mole, same everything. His caller ID was even Papa, which is what Rye called her dad. Rye was an only child too. It occurred to me in that moment that Mark was Rye. He probably moved away to transition, seeing as he would have been incredibly unsafe in our hometown. He was already the target of bullying, and it wouldn't have been impossible that he would have been hurt. He changed his last name and he looks completely different. He's very handsome now. I don't even know what I was thinking in that moment, but I kept my mouth shut. He came back from the bathroom and we continued our lunch before saying our goodbyes. I understand why he'd been keeping this secret from me. I'm way better now, but back then he knew me. I was pretty homophobic and wouldn't have taken him coming out well at all. I'm gay now, lol. I'd guess he's nervous about what I'd say, or he wants to start his life completely over. I don't know. I'm completely fine with him being trans, and I'd love to keep knowing him. But if he's kept it a secret this long, does he not want me to know? Whatever the asshole if I asked him about it? First comment. A soft not the asshole, but go gently with this. Using words like confront comes off as aggressive and accusatory. Honestly, this sounds like it could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship, but I'd probably take an organic approach. Bring up the topic of your high school days, what an ass you were with your homophobic trash talking, and how regretful you are at how young and stupid you were. Most of us have a boatload of regrets from our teen years. As part of the learning process, perhaps he'll look at it as an opening to come clean. Try not to see this as someone keeping secrets, but just as someone who's still a tad insecure in their identity. If at all possible, I would let them bring that up first. You can then admit that yes, you knew or suspected. Perhaps you two can even have a bit of a laugh about it. OP says, thank you. Yeah, I was a little iffy on the word confront. Just didn't really know how else to describe it. I'm not mad at him at all. I'm just kind of reeling from the fact that the sweet person I was mourning is alive, well, and apparently thriving. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he is. I'm mostly just wondering how he even managed it, lol. Now, is it just me, or does this sound like the plot to a romance book? And literally, okay, I was literally on TikTok and I found a romance book that's coming out May 27th that is about a trans guy who transitions but knew his roommate before, and it just, I love the concept. I think this, and especially the fact that OP is gay now, so it's possible. It's possible. You know, I could write a fic about this. Basically, I'm rooting for them to either be close friends or be a couple. I think both would be cute. And from my experience, you see, as a trans person, I'm very open about my transition. Most of it is documented online anyways. So if someone were to ask me about stuff, I would just be like honest about it. As a general rule, when it comes to trans people, I don't think OP should bring it up or like confront this person. I think, as the first comment said, like bring up, oh, I was stupid as a kid, I was a little homophobic, like and now I'm gay, you know? And bring up like, kind of dance around the topic so that if your friend wants to talk about it, they can, but you're not like pressuring them in any way to speak about it. Give them like an opening, you know? Am I the asshole for telling my dad I'm changing my last name? Okay, so I, 20 male, was visiting my dad, 46 male's house. Really his girlfriend's house, but I digress. We'll call him Adam. It was just a short visit. My grandma had sent him something for me, and I was just swinging by to pick it up. Anyways, we were chatting a little bit before I left, and they asked if I would be going to Canada soon, where my boyfriend lives. I told them I was aiming for April, but it had to wait for my name change to be finalized before applying for a new passport. For context, I'm trans. He's known for years and been relatively accepting, if not a little bit of an ass. I asked him 4 years ago when I was 16 to sign paperwork for me to get my name changed. At the time, I told him I wanted to just change my first name, as well as my last name from Jensen, not actually, to Jefferson, also a fake name. He flat out denied it and told me I could do it when he didn't have to participate. I'd also like to note that he had told me on several occasions before that he didn't care what my last name was because I would be marrying it off anyways. Jefferson is my mom, sister, and stepdad's last name. My stepdad, let's call him Jack, has been with the family since I was a baby and took much more of a role in raising me than Adam ever did, as much as Adam likes to tell me otherwise. As far as my transition goes, Jack has been super accepting and just generally much more supportive, even going as far as paying for my background checks for my name change. Adam has always been bitter towards Jack for reasons I don't actually know, beyond maybe jealousy or something. Anyways, upon hearing I was finally getting my name checked, Adam asked what I was changing it to. I told him the first name, the same one he's been calling me for years. And then he asked if I was changing my last name. When I said yes, he asked to what, and obviously I said Jefferson. His girlfriend, who is sitting on the couch next to him, just says, "That's sad," which is wild to me, seeing as she's also a stepmom. Not to me, but her ex-husband's daughter. He gets red in the face and doesn't say anything. I try to remind him of what he had told me before, and he interrupted me with, "I never said that. Get out," and I left. It's been a little over a week and I still haven't heard from him, which honestly doesn't bug me much, but his girlfriend is my boss. A much longer, more complicated story, and I'm dreading my next shift with her. She's a super sweet lady, and I really like her, but we don't tend to agree on stuff pertaining to my transition or Adam. Not in a disrespectful way, but in a vaguely undereducated way. Regardless, I really don't want her to try and tell me how much I've hurt his feelings and that I should try to make right with him. Long story short, I think I might be the asshole for telling him so bluntly, but maybe not, because he's known it was going to happen for years, and he asked. Honestly, I thought the name change thing was going to be OP's name, the last name being changed to like the boyfriend's last name or something, but no. The stepdad has no right to act like OP should keep his last name. Like, it literally says throughout the whole story that Jeff, or his stepdad, has been more supportive in all ways than what's his face. Yeah, the stepdad, Jack, seems to be more supportive than this dad, Adam, ever was. And even the stepdad said, like, quote unquote, he flat out denied it and told me I could do it when we didn't have to participate. I'd also like to note that he had told me on several occasions before that he didn't care what my last name was because I would be marrying it off anyways. I don't think OP's the asshole at all. I think if this stepmom tries to, like, guilt trip him, then she's not as nice of a lady as he's saying she is. And I don't think it's any of her business, per se, honestly. Like, it's between him and his dad. And this will be the last story for this video. Am I the asshole for not telling my class I'm gay? Kinda short, but I think about it a lot, and it still gets to me sometimes, so I finally got the nerve to talk about it. I barely use Reddit, so I'm sorry in advance if the format is weird. I only know about this subreddit from YouTube videos. I'm a gay man This happened when I was in college. I was part of the LGBT club for a while, and during one of my semesters, I took PE as a required class. I had some options for PE credits, and landed on this semi-sport club where I could play stuff like volleyball with other members of the class. I wouldn't say I'm overly masculine, but I'm not extremely feminine either. The other students at the time were really cool with me, I assumed. We sometimes hung out after class, but usually couldn't be bothered to wear PE clothes and just played in jeans. Yeah, it's as gross as it sounds, especially when you're sweating. IDK how I did it. One day it was particularly hot, so I brought some shorts from home and changed in the men's locker rooms, which I had never done before. Another student in the class, I'll call Andrew, was also changing in the room. I decided to change in a stall purely because I'm a pretty private person with my body like that. My sexuality had nothing to do with it. A few weeks later, Andrew was in the bathroom at the same time as I had to pee, so I used a urinal and left without talking to him, like people tend to do in bathrooms. Somehow this caused an issue where the rest of the class witnessed Andrew having some insane crashing out during class. Apparently he knew I was in the LGBT club, but when he noticed me change in the stall, he assumed I was transgender and assumed I was a trans guy, and because of my appearance, he had been considering me female, insulting in every possible direction toward myself and trans men. So when he saw me use the urinal, Andrew freaked out and realized I was actually a gay man. He had a problem with me using the bathroom at the same time as other guys in the class, and thought they should be aware I was into guys, and it was incredibly selfish and perverted. I've never said anything because apparently I could have been ogling their dicks. I was floored and snapped at him, saying things I wish I had worded better. I admit to that. I was pissed off and wasn't thinking straight. But afterwards, the others in the class that saw the fight tried to comfort me. A few days later, Andrew pretended nothing ever happened and wouldn't talk about it, acting like that was never an issue, and I was insane for acting uncomfortable around him. I do feel a lot of guilt, and I flip between it's not their business, and they should have been told, and it's one of my most regrettable arguments I'd like some insight in. Am I the asshole for not telling the guys in my class that I was gay? Obviously not the asshole. Andrew's both homophobic and transphobic. So Andrew was okay with it when OP was a trans man in his eyes. But then when he found out he was a cis man, he has a problem with it. Either way, it's a man. It shows that his logic, in his logic, he thinks that trans men are just women. And the fact that it is none of Andrew's business, and him saying, oh, you should have told everybody, you so blah blah blah. It's like Survivor spoilers, but this guy Varner outed this trans Survivor contestant Zeke because Zeke was deceiving everybody and whatever because he's trans and he didn't say that he was trans. So Varner outed him at tribal council. It's like the same thing where it's like it's like implying that it's deceptive to not share your sexuality if you were a queer person, or not share your gender if you're a queer person. Like, it's nobody's business what I am or who I like unless it's important for me to tell them. I mean, for me it's a little different because I talk about it online, but like if I was a person who didn't post my life online, I would not feel the need to tell anyone about being trans unless they were gonna find out either way. And by that I mean if they're going to see my, I'm not gonna tell a random lady at the grocery store that I'm gay. I'm not gonna, even like people who I am around a lot, like, it's very obvious I am gay, but it's not something that, like, when I make a friend, the first thing I'm gonna say is not, I am gay. It's, hi, how are you? It's like being upset that someone's Italian because they didn't have an accent. It's just another descriptor of a person, whether you're trans, whether you're gay. It's not like, that is you, those are parts of you, but in the same way you can consider like someone being Italian or French or whatever as parts of them that is not like necessary to know to be their friend or to interact with them. Anyways, fuck Andrew. Not actually, but like screw that, no. Andrew sucks. Why is every negative thing about someone related to sex like, fuck Andrew, screw Andrew? Why is it like all about, like, all these negative things you could say about a person, they're all about sex, kinda, Anyways, Andrew is awful. There we go. And I will see you guys next week because that's the last story. Comment your opinions on these stories below and let me know what other topics you want me to make videos on. Alright. Get your pancakes out, it's Saturday morning. Well, it's not actually, you're probably gonna see this on like a Monday or Tuesday. Bye.